What's going on, everyone? So, I've been lifting weights for a long time. I started doing my first basic strength training sessions when I was around 12 years old from a little home gym. I got my first gym membership when I was 15 years old, and ever since then, I've been training consistently up until now, being in my 30s. In doing so, one of my main overarching goals has been to build as much muscle as I possibly can naturally. At this point now, I'm grateful to say that I have built a good chunk of muscle over the years. In this video, while showing you footage of one of my recent strength training sessions, I'm going to share with you what I consider to be some of the 5 most important things that I've learned about muscle growth, or some of the 5 most important truths that I've learned about muscle growth over the years that I've been lifting weights. My hope is that in sharing these truths with you, it might help to answer some of your own muscle growth questions and ultimately help you on your own journey to build more muscle. So, let's dive in. Here's the first big truth. And honestly, I wish this one didn't take me so long to figure out. When it comes to lifting weights to build muscle, quality trumps quantity. Muscle growth is driven by exposing your muscles to mechanical tension, so it only makes sense to do your reps and sets in the way that most efficiently leads to that end, right? If you were to do something like 5 super heavy sets of Romanian deadlifts for 10 reps each, but with a poor range of motion, sloppy tempo, and without any feeling of tension on your hamstrings, compared to doing just one set of 8 reps with an appropriate load where you move with tons of depth, a controlled tempo, and have a killer mind-muscle connection with your hamstrings, that single set might actually be more stimulative for muscle growth than all 5 of those other sets combined. Why? Simply because there could be more mechanical tension being exposed to your hamstrings and glutes in that single set compared to the 5 sloppy sets put together. That said, I've also found that learning how to move in the way that leads to the highest amount of mechanical tension is a skill and does take time to learn. So, people who are newer to lifting weights might actually benefit from doing more weekly sets per muscle compared to more advanced lifters, simply because it allows for more opportunity to practice lifting. Once you've learned how to move more efficiently with more stimulative, high-quality reps, you can probably afford or even benefit from training with fewer total sets across the week. If you're wondering how you can best approach learning how to lift weights more efficiently, this next big truth is certainly a big part of the answer. Big truth number 2 is this. Moving with good lifting technique is how to generate the highest amount of mechanical tension across your muscles and ultimately make the most of your time spent in the gym. Similar to the example I used with Romanian deadlifts, imagine this. Compare doing a set of dumbbell bench presses where you lower the dumbbells as far down as possible and with a controlled tempo, with a set where you move with, say, half as much depth and an uncontrolled tempo. With the added depth and control, your muscles would actually have to produce more overall force across their entire lengths and thereby be exposed to significantly more mechanical tension than if you were to do the lateral. And I mean significantly. You might be wondering, well, what if I move like the ladder, so with less depth and less control, but with super heavy weight? Won't the heavy weight make up for the less optimal technique? Well, nope, not from my experience. The heavier weights will probably just increase the risk of developing some kind of nagging pain or injury. And honestly, I can say that with confidence since I learned that lesson many times the hard way as a younger lifter. That's the other big benefit of training with good technique. It massively decreases the probability you'll run into injuries. And I mean both the bigger acute injuries, like throwing out your back when doing squats, or the more annoying nagging ones, like getting shoulder pain from throwing around weights that are too heavy with not so good technique when doing something like lateral raises. Not only does experiencing fewer pains and injuries lead to a better quality of life and more enjoyable training sessions, it also means more potential muscle growth too, since your training won't need to be disrupted as often from having to either make adjustments to your program to accommodate for the pains, or from having to take time away from your sessions altogether to allow for recovery of those injuries. Big truth number 3 might be a tough one to swallow. Building a significant amount of muscle takes a significant amount of time, for most people anyways. And that's definitely been the case for me. I think it's largely social media that leads many people to develop different unrealistic expectations, like that 30, 60, or 90 days are enough to leave you looking like an Instagram model if you train hard within those short periods of time. It's hard to avoid seeing absolutely incredible physiques regularly on our socials nowadays. And while from what I've seen, they don't, or the people that have those physiques don't often outright say things like, you can build a physique like me in just 60 days if you do X, Y, or Z. But just the sheer frequency at which we see them, I think can leave us to start to believe that attaining that kind of muscle and level of leanness is somehow attainable in a relatively short period of time. Like it's normal to just be able to get super jacked and ripped super fast. That being so, although I don't see them terribly often anymore, there probably are some fitness influencers or coaches out there who claim that you can build a physique like them by doing XYZ in a relatively short period of time. My advice is, if you ever run into those kinds of fitness people, I would probably go running the other way. Anyhow, building lots of muscle takes lots of time of consistent, hard training. And from having that as a clear expectation, I think the process can and will be a lot more enjoyable and fulfilling. Big truth number 4 is that commitment to training consistently is exponentially more important than having motivation to train. One of the most common questions I'm asked is something along the lines of, how can I become more motivated to work out? I think this question often comes from a place of putting motivation on some kind of special pedestal when it comes to building muscle, when in reality, you don't actually need motivation to work out to build muscle. And I think there is also a common misconception that people who have lots of muscle regularly feel motivated to get to the gym when that's often not the case. Here's where I think that confusion stems from. People who are in amazing shape year-round, they've got tons of muscle, seem to commonly have a strong why for being in great shape. And that makes them look like they're regularly motivated to get in their lifting sessions, to hit the gym regularly. But there's a difference between having a strong why and being motivated in the moment to work out, to go to the gym. I'll speak for myself in saying that although I have a very strong why for building muscle and developing my physique, I don't actually always feel motivated to go to the gym and get my training sessions in, even if it comes across from an outside perspective like I do. But that's okay, because motivation isn't needed for consistent training. Commitment is, and that's the real key. If you commit to training consistently, then motivation isn't even needed to be a part of the equation whatsoever. Simply commit to lifting weights consistently, whether you're motivated or not. That's where the real magic lies. And the 5th and final big truth is this. From what I've experienced myself, the real joy of muscle growth comes from the journey, not the destination. Being real with you all, I know I've built a significant amount of muscle over the years, and I am plenty grateful and happy with my progress. But even so, I've never been at a place where I've thought to myself, I made it. I finally got to my goal and can stop now. Despite having built so much muscle, I suspect my hunger for progress will never fully be satisfied. And yet, I've still found a ton of fulfillment from seeing myself make progress along the way. And that's where I think the most joy in lifting weights can be expected to be found. Not in reaching any arbitrary muscle growth goal itself, but from seeing yourself grow and improve along the process in small incremental steps. Understanding that has given me peace of mind and opened myself up to really love the muscle growth journey. And that's it. I'd love to know what you think. Did any of those 5 truths resonate with you? Let me know in the comments. Just before we close this video, I wanted to let you know about the work that I do. When I'm not making YouTube videos, recording podcast episodes, or making Instagram content, I work as a full-time online physique coach where I help my clients to accomplish their muscle growth and fat loss goals by optimizing their approach to strength training and nutrition. If you've been considering getting some help with accomplishing your own physique goals, you're invited to hit the link in the description below where you can learn a little bit more about the work that I do and the help that I can offer you. You can even use that link to schedule a free video consultation with me. If you have any questions about my coaching or how I can help you, email me at sam@jadeathletics.ca. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.